Hey y'all, for my video I chose to read the book Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell. The main idea of this book is all about learning how to overcome your failures and figure out how to turn them into a success. So Maxwell's entire book is about telling other people's stories of how they reached their entrepreneurship status. The first stories Maxwell explains in his book about the hardships of entrepreneurship is about the one and only S. Truett Cathy. This man is the founder of the best fast food chain around, Chick-fil-A. Many would think that this man got his feet off of the ground with this business the very first try. I mean, how could he not? What many people don't know is that it actually took Cathy 3 times before he's able to create the amazing Chick-fil-A that we all love today. One of the things that I took from Maxwell's book is that it takes on average 3 times for a company to actually be able to make a profit. Of it taking at least 3 times for a company to actually make a profit and get its feet off of the ground makes a lot of sense whenever you read further into Maxwell's book about the part where a teacher is making a demonstration to her class throughout the whole year. So basically, one half of the class was able to create one project for a single grade by the end of the year, and the other half of the class was able to create multiple projects to be averaged together and then have their final project as like their final grade. The whole test took the entire year, and eventually it showed that the students who had the ability to make mistakes actually did better at the end of the day. This is all because the ability to make mistakes takes the stress off of failing, and if you fail then you can look at your mistakes and correct it, and that is actually my second point on the 3 most learned things that I learned from this book. But before I get into my 3 main points, I'm going to talk about one of the 7 things that Maxwell teaches his readers that failure is not. So the one that I was able to relate to the most was that failure is not final. I was able to relate to this mainly since I've gotten into college, because I know what I wanted to do since I was in like 4th grade and I failed a couple of tests. You know, it's happened, and it kind of made me want to change my major because of all the stress that I've been under. But after reading that book, I kind of realized like I had started it and I need to finish it. And that just because I may have failed a test, that it's not the end of the world, and that I just need to look at what went wrong, correct it, and turn it into a success. So one of the last things that John C. Maxwell wants his readers to remember is that if you change yourself, then eventually your world will change also. When faced with multitudes of failure, remember to ask yourself questions and make sure that you aren't the problem. If you find that your attitude or mindset is the problem, then inevitably you need to change it. I'm sure you've all been there with your friends, maybe doing something that you shouldn't have been doing, but you were only doing it because your friends were there. And, well, whenever you finally realize that you need to stand up for yourself and maybe get out of that bad situation, that honestly takes a lot of a change of attitude and self-perspective and self-perception. So that is exactly what Maxwell is trying to tell us to do. So if something is holding you back, you've got to fix the problem and eventually lead to your success in your entrepreneurship, maybe, if that's what you're going for. Yeah. Now on to the 3 main points that Maxwell wants all of his readers to remember. The first point that Maxwell wants us to remember is that you may not always be responsible for your failures, but you can always take responsibility for your successes. Every successful entrepreneur that you know, or that you have met, or that you can think of has failed and has viewed those failures as only a momentary lapse in their success and not as the end of their career. Because if they viewed it as the end of their career, then they wouldn't really be entrepreneurs that we know today, would they? Because they wouldn't have a company or have been successful. So the second point that I already went over, but that I will touch on once again, is about turning your failures into knowledge and your knowledge into success. This is with the teacher and her students who learned that it is okay to fail and to learn, so that we are able to come out with better outcome than we would if we were only allowed to fail once. The third and final point that Maxwell wants all of his readers to know is to always make the best out of every opportunity that comes your way. This comes in 3 steps. 1, set clear goals. 2, work on your social skills, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And 3, Always keep a positive attitude, because if Kathy wouldn't have kept a positive attitude whenever his first restaurant burnt down, then we would not have Chick-fil-A today, and that would be very disappointing and depressing. So go through with your goals, work on your social skills, and always keep a positive attitude. Thank you.